A 1998 Montrose graduate, Becky Bourcier Bodzick was a standout record-setting athlete who excelled in basketball, volleyball, and softball for the Montrose Lady Rams. Becky's earliest memory of softball was shagging balls in her backyard while her sister and dad practiced. Although she was too young to be on a team, her big sister Jamie was playing baseball at the time. Like any younger sibling, she wanted to be just like her big sis. Years later, she chose to wear number 23 because that was her number. When it was Becky's turn to be on a team, Montrose had their summer rec league twice a week in the mornings. Becky says, "This league was the best." Oddly, two of the most memorable things she remembers from this time were being a green twin with fellow inductee Teresa Sudemeister Miller, who later became her best friend, and knowing that Mr. Studaker and Helen Smitty Smith were the ones she needed to impress. As she worked her way through middle school and into high school, softball was always her constant. The summer rec league turned into 10 and under and 12 and under teams, mostly of fellow Montrose athletes, but a few from neighboring towns who would turn from teammates to rivals years later, when they started traveling to play league games, and years later again as teammates on collegiate teams. During her 8th grade year, fellow classmate Nick Loafman, who was a 2015 Hall of Fame inductee, and Becky won the Stuart Curry Memorial Award. This award was given to the top male and female scholar athletes in the middle school. Becky said, "To be honest, I really didn't know much about the award, nor think of myself as a top athlete. But when I read that Jennifer Rushton, another Hall of Fame inductee, had won it years before, I knew it was truly an honor." During high school, she strived to be the best athlete that she personally could. She raved about having some great coaches and truly some great teammates that pushed her to be better and helped pick her up when she was down, both athletically and as a teenager trying to figure out life. Becky says her sophomore year was truly a great year, probably her favorite. She finally got a chance to play for Mr. Studaker when she was asked to play varsity softball. That year, her team won the GEC title and took the district crown. It was one of Becky's most memorable games of her career. They beat non-league rival Frankenmuth 7-0, who beat them earlier in the year, and she hit a pair of home runs that game. Unfortunately, though, the season ended when they lost in regionals. However, it was still an amazing season. Becky was selected as first-team All-League, All-District, second-team All-Region, and first-team All-State for first base. A newspaper clipping announcing the All-State recognition summed her first-year varsity ball. The sophomore slugger ripped an incredible .843 slugging percentage. Her 8 home runs and 60 RBIs were both one shy of the school record in each category. Bourcier cracked a pair of home runs 2 games this season. The GEC title-clinching game against Goodrich and the district championship game against Frankenmuth, who had beaten the Rams earlier in the season. Bourcier committed just 4 errors during the season from her first base position. She fielded a stellar .979 fielding percentage. That summer, she continued to play travel ball, along with fellow inductee Teresa Sudemeister Miller, out of the Mount Pleasant area. They made it to the NSA Girls Fast Pitch World Series in Columbus, Ohio. The thing she loved most about playing summer ball was the competition. You were playing with and against the best in the area. The girls who were rivals in school ball were now teammates and friends during summer ball. Oh, and one more thing, the heat. It's definitely not like the first few weeks of school ball with Michigan weather and snow. Give me 90 degrees in a ball game any day. The 1997 season continued on the track of the previous year and was even more exciting as the team made its way past regionals. Becky played an instrumental part in the win over Waterford in the quarterfinals. With the score knotted at 1, Patricia Clark slapped a base hit up the middle. When teammate Bourcier duplicated the hit, Clark motored into home from second base, beating the throw with a perfect slide. The excitement lasted all week, but the storybook season ended with a loss in the Class C state semifinals. Bourcier was the only hitter who had no difficulty with Horton, going 3 for 3. The first baseman's triple tied the game 1-1 in the bottom of the third. Then in the fourth, it all fell apart for Montrose. The season ended 36-9. Becky's senior year, she was moved to the shortstop position. They lost a lot of talented players, but what they gained from the younger players proved that talent and drive ran deep. Together, they earned their third straight GEC League title and their fourth consecutive district crown. She remembers the season ending with a terrible loss at regionals, where Swan Valley beat them 4-0. We had a bad start and never really recovered. I remember thinking we were so much better than this, and as a senior, watching your season end like this was like a bad dream, said Becky. With the record of 32-9, 8 girls earned postseason awards. The Tri-County Citizen summed it up best when they said, Becky Bourcier and Lorraine Byers pretty much owned the area in and around second base this season. In addition to their solid defensive play, the Montrose seniors put up impressive offensive numbers. Bourcier was named a first-team All-State shortstop this season. The senior standout clubbed 62 hits and drove in 42 runs. Becky is a power hitter with speed, Montrose coach Rod Studeaker said. She had a .770 slugging average and led the team in all offensive categories except sacrifices. Bourcier finished the season with a .492 average and .646 on-base percentage. She also scored a team-high 52 runs during the campaign. She ended her high school career with All-League, All-District, All-Region honors, as well as May's Montrose Athlete of the Month and Senior Female Athlete of the Year awards. A great way to say goodbye to an amazing high school softball career that all began a decade prior in the summer rec program, when an 8-year-old girl wanted to impress 2 softball coaches, reminisces Becky. Coach Rod Studeaker had this to say. Becky was one of the best pure hitters I have ever coached. I brought her up to varsity as a sophomore and stuck her at first base, a position she had never played. All she did was make All-State first team. 2 years later, after our All-State honorable mention shortstop had graduated after starting every game as our shortstop, 165 games, we had no one to replace her, Holly Johnson. So I stuck Becky at shortstop for her senior year, a position she had never played. Again, all she did was make All-State first team at that position. Very talented on offense and on defense. Very coachable, too. I loved being her varsity coach for 3 years. In the fall of 1998, she became a Lady Cardinal for Saginaw Valley State University on a softball scholarship. Over the course of the next 4 years, she earned many honors and recognitions. All GLIAC honorable mention at third base for 2 consecutive years, and team captain. Becky currently is still noted in the record book for doubles on the career offensive list. She says her time there paled in comparison to being part of the Lady Rams. Becky resides in Flushing, Michigan with her husband Spencer and their 2 daughters. She is currently employed as a freelance graphic designer with Becky Bodzick Designs, LLC. The Montrose Sports and Community Hall of Fame is proud to welcome Becky Bourcier Bodzick as a 2016 athletic inductee.